This meeting is being recorded.
Okay, awesome. So good evening, everyone, and for all the India users, and good morning, good afternoon to all the users who have joined from other locations. Thank you so much for joining in today. So we welcome you to our Marketo user group meeting this evening. So let's get started. So first of all, let's discuss some of the housekeeping slides. So like the usual market user group rules, we do not promote any do any self promotion or pitching of any kind is permitted. Then please do not contact any other participant or registrant out of the market user group meeting without their consent. And if users are sharing their use cases, they are strictly confidential, and please do not share that information without their consent outside of this meeting. Next ahead, as you would have heard the notification, this mug meeting is being recorded, and we'll be uploading this mug meeting to the mug YouTube channel post the event. And we'll also be loading up this recording onto the Webby along with the presentation that we are sharing. So please keep that in mind as well. And please join our mug chapter. So we already have 150 plus group members, subscribed to our mug chapter. So we are planning some of the very cool virtual Marketo user group meetings around the year based on your inputs and feedbacks. So please subscribe to our mug Webby page so that you get notification as soon as we launch or publish any of the Marketo user group meeting.
And there is one thing which I would like to add, that if you have your team members and they are using Marketo, please feel free to share this user group details with them, because the whole thing is that we would like to ensure that every Marketo user in India's voice is being heard, and we are curating and orchestrating this event based on the needs of the Indian Marketo user group members. So please try to share these details as much as possible to those users who have not joined the MUG chapter as yet.
Yeah, that would be really helpful. We'll appreciate that. Thank you so much, Ajay, for adding that. So yeah, some of the upcoming market opportunities. So Adobe launched its Better Together user group chapter recently. So with all the Adobe Experience Cloud products uniting it, and the as they are becoming closely integrated, we have a dedicated user group wherein we are gonna discuss, like all the experts and champions are gonna discuss the the integration perspective for multiple Adobe products. So first up, we have the Adobe Analytics and Marketo, like how these two platforms are going to integrate, and that event is also going to be publishing very soon. So keep an eye out for that as well. And apart from the India VMUG and the other chapters, please do consider subscribing to this new Marketo, the Better Together user group chapter as well. And apart from that, please consider sharing your experience related to Adobe Marketo Engage on G2. So in exchange, you will be getting a $25 gift card once your review is published. You can choose whether to remain anonymous or public. That is, you can either provide your name and company, or you can choose to be anonymous. So the deadline for this is October 31st. And it's highly recommended that you use your business email or log into the G2 platform via your LinkedIn. And Adobe has now 3 certifications for Marketo Engage. The first and the elementary level certification is the Adobe Certified Professional, which was earlier known as the Marketo Certified Associate. The next up in the hierarchy is the Adobe Certified Expert Business Practitioner certification, which was formerly known as the Marketo Certified Expert Exam. And this is something which is recommended for people who have around 18 months of Marketo experience. And then we have the Adobe Certified Master Marketo Engage Architect certification. So this is the certification about which we are going to discuss about in this mug meeting. And this is something which is recommended for the power user, the admin users who have thorough experience working with Marketo platform and leading core Marketo implementation as well. So the recommended years of experience for taking up the certification is around 5 years. So we'll be discussing a lot in detail about the certification today. So moving forward, so uh, please join us on the October 13th for the next champion office hours as well. So it is happening on 10 at 10 a.m. EDT, which translates to 7:30 p.m. IST. So this, like, if you do not have an idea about champion office hours, it is something wherein we as in champions have volunteered every month. We hop on a call to answer some of the most query questions of the users. So as a user, you can register for the champion office hours, and the time of registration, you can submit your questions, which we, as in champions, the panel of champions take up during this call. And we also tend to answer some of your questions which come through in the live chat as well. And apart from that, we have a lot of month. So so this week there are happening a lot of meetings. Then we have all the meetings planned for the subsequent weeks as well. So yeah, consider joining them and be on a lookout for all those meetings on the Adobe Marketo user group page as well. Then, so before we jump into the core topic, let me introduce myself and give Josephine and Ajay as well some time to introduce themselves. So I'll start with myself. So I am Darshil Shah. I work as a Marketo consultant at Deloitte Digital. I am a Marketo champion, certified architect, vice certified expert, and community advisor as well. So I am based out of Ahmedabad, Gujarat, which is where I live. So I used to work from the Bangalore location, but since COVID, I have been staying with my parents at home. So I look forward to share all that I know, and look forward to answer your questions you guys have with respect to the Adobe Marketo Certified Architect Exam. So Josephine, may I please request you to say a bit about it?
Oh, thank you, Darshil. Hi, everyone. I'm Josephine Alazaga. I work at the Adobe side, so I am the certification program manager for customer journey and marketing workflow. In particular, regards to the architect exam, um, as Darshil had listed on his slide, this is a new standard in how we want to scale the opportunity for a lot of people who want to become Marketo experts. That's why we decided on following the framework for our current certification, with our current certification for Marketo, to now go to the written exam format, but still maintain the requirements from the previous legacy certification, where you have to be a certified expert first before you can um, uh, proceed to the architect certification. And I hope a lot more of you will avail of this opportunity now, since it's now open to the public.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Thanks, Darshil.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Josephine.
Thank you, Josephine and Darshil. Great introduction as always. And Josephine, you know that how much I love working with you. So I'll start with my introduction. My name is Ajay Sarpal. I'm based in Bangalore, India. I'm sort of in between a transit because I'm settling down to a new state. So I'm 4 times Marketo champion. I'm MCSA. I'm 2019 Fearless Marketer. 2020 is a champion of the year. 6 times MCE. Did 9 advanced specialization on marketing automation that was more related to Marketo. And I'm Salesforce certified admin, Sales Cloud consultant, and Salesforce certified app builder. I have been running my own agency from the past 3.5 years, and the firm which I own happens to be the bronze level partner of Adobe. And this is all about my side. Blessed to be a part of Adobe's certification team. So the newly launched MCE and MCSA exams, I was in the core committee to build those exam question. And, we work very closely with Josephine, and we will be again going to, means I and Darshil, we are again going to work with Josephine, and that makes me the subject matter expert of Adobe's Marketo Engage product suite, and I happen to be 2 times subject matter expert of Adobe. This is all from my side.
Awesome. Thank you, Josephine and Ajay. So let's get started to the core matter. So quickly, let's run down to the towards the agenda of today. So we are gonna discuss all there is to discuss about the architect exam, its information requirements, and how is the exam has changed from earlier. What are some of the tips and tricks for preparing the exam? What are the core areas that you should be focusing on building your skills and expertise while preparing and before appearing for the exam? Then we'll discuss some of the breakdowns of the exam sections, and Ajay and I will discuss a few sample questions which are of the architect level difficulty with you, so that you get an idea that what are some, like, what is the question type, what are the things that what is the question no, level of difficulty of the questions that is asked usually in the architect exam. And then towards the end, we have some general exam taking tips, Q&A, and then we have the raffle contest where we are planning to raffle off 3 architect vouchers to the attendees of today's event. So if you are interested in event as well. So let's get started with the exam information first of all. So the exam number for the architect exam is the ARE0E536. The official exam name of this exam is the Adobe Certified Master Adobe Marketo Engage Architect. Formerly, it used to be known as the Marketo Certified Solution Architect exam. And now, as Josephine discussed, it is now open for both the customers and partners. Earlier, it was just open for the partners. And the core validity of this exam is 2 years from the date since you pass the exam. And the prerequisite for this exam is that you should have an Adobe expert, the business practitioner expert certifications validated and passed before you appear for this particular architect exam. And as of now, the available languages for taking up this exam is English, and the question numbers that you are expected to answer are 50, and the formats of the question is multiple choice question and multi-select question types, wherein you will be asked to select more than one options. The number of correct options for these type of questions would usually be mentioned in the question itself, and those questions are typically type of a case study rather than just information supply kind of questions. And the duration of this entire exam is for 150 minutes, and you can take this exam either on-site or in the form of an online proctored version, which requires access to the camera. And the passing grade or the passing mark for this exam is 30, that is in 30 or 50. And the price for taking up this exam is 225 USD dollars and $150 plus the taxes for the Indian users as well.
Hey, Darshil.
Uh-huh.
If you check around December, I think we're planning some promotions on the exam voucher price.
Oh, yeah. I think that would be a great time to buy vouchers from the X-Voucher site if people are planning to take exam in the 1 year of duration, like in next 1 year, I think.
Yeah, check in December.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for that information, Josephine. So moving ahead, so I'll just discuss some of, like, what are the things that has changed from the earlier version of the exam. So prior to this particular question answer or the MCQ based questions, the Marketo Engage Architect certification, which I said was known as the MCSA, was so, you know was provided in the form of a presentation driven process wherein a panel of Adobe expert or the Adobe senior level leadership team, usually the participant, and they used to hop on a call and to discuss the case study format. And this certification, as we mentioned, it was available to only partners prior to this change. And the legacy exam was conducted in the form of a college thesis with consultant or the presenter presenting a case study abroad, like a case study of their market implementation. So as to depict that not only understand how to use Marketo, but they also prove themselves that they were a core leader during the project implementation process, and they are considered as a trusted advisor to the clients. So it was a long 90-minute presentation process, and I myself did that presentation last year. And I think it was a wonderful experience. I got to learn a lot, and yeah, it was a great experience for me. So coming to the newer exam is MCQ based exam, and it is open to both partners and customers. So yeah, like a lot of people that, can now take up the MCSA or the architect level exam. It is not only limited to the partners like prior. And as opposed to the the associate and expert level exams, this exam, the architect exam, specifically focuses on a lot of deeper strata and the knowledge of Marketo. So you need to know the breadth and depth of the core areas of Marketo. You are expected to have core implementation on the field experience, and being working as a power user for taking up this exam. So yeah, we will discuss a lot in detail about what are the areas and what are the things that you should be looking out and you should be focusing more while preparing this exam. So over to you, Ajay, for discussing the preparing tips for preparing the exam.
Thank you, Darshil. Although there is no hard and fast rule for this, but it is usually suggested and that a user who is actually preparing for this exam should have minimum 5 years of experience in Marketo product suite, and also the experience of more than one instance of Marketo. And that is slightly important because as an architect you are expected to uh, think above and beyond when it comes to implementation, integration, and all other stuff. And the user should be a power user, means an admin as well. And the user who is actually planning to give the exam, that person should be familiar with the Adobe Marketo Engage feature functionality and app, the database system, the API connectivity. Because as an architect, this is something which has been usually asked by me, that how we can find out a workaround for a situation for which Marketo doesn't have out of the box solution. So it is good if you're having slight insight on API connectivity. And CRM platform, in my opinion, is a must, because as an architect, it is expected from us that we should be fixing the sync issues. And we can't understand the Marketo's sync issues if we don't know much about the CRM platform. And at the same time, we should also be aware about the commonly used MarTech platforms for various other things, to help the client to be successful in their demand generation or ROI tracking and all other cool stuff. So this is about the experience, although as I said, that there is no hard and fast rule. But just keep in mind that it is good if someone with 5+ years of experience, and if someone has actually worked on more than one instance of Marketo, can actually go for applying for this exam. And the business application, when it comes to that, then the person should be able to understand the business impact and effectively explain, communicate their solution to the stakeholders. So the thing is that the communication is the key, how you are actually dealing with your client or your partners, or someone, and the client could be internal or external. That always plays a pivotal role, that how successful your implementation is going to be. And the another thing is that understand the business processes and impact by integration, because at times it can happen that whenever you're implementing something, it might end up breaking certain things. So you should be knowing the pros and cons of a certain solution or certain workarounds. And the user should be able to conceptualize a solution and translate it to a Marketo Engage proper architecture. So these are the things which are usually expected from someone who is actually planning to appear for a Marketo Certified Architect Exam. And the study material, well, the experience is the most important thing. That is one. The person should be using the admin section, because that is the another important thing. Because if a user is working from the past 5 years, and the user has not worked on the admin module of Marketo, then it defeats the purpose of architect exam. The third thing I would suggest, that have a fair knowledge of the sales CRM. Those are like Salesforce and the other one. So means you need not to know everything, but just the basic things, like how to create a field, how to map a field between lead and contact object, how to build those for conversion, and how we can actually track that, and what are the common sync issues, and what are the reasons behind those sync issues. So this is which is actually being needed when you are planning to prepare for this exam. And you can get most of these things in Marketo docs. You can get that in Marketo knowledge base, and Marketo Nation community is like an ocean. You will get what all issues you're facing in your day-to-day life. Those must have been either already answered or must have been already getting discussed. And just in case if you didn't find any specific question, just feel free to ask a question over there, and we have great community advisors like Darshil who will be able to quickly jump on that and help you to get your issue sorted. Next slide.
Awesome. Thank you, Ajay. So let's get ahead and discuss some of the core topics that are that Marketo expects us to know as a person who is actually going to take the exam. Marketo expects us to know. So first of all, Marketo expects us to know a bit about the project leadership. So how, like, what are the core leadership skills that a consultant should have while planning, strategizing, and implementing a core implementation related Marketo project. So how to identify the right stakeholders, evaluate a set of requirements. So when it comes to Marketo implementation, there could be a lot of requirements, a lot of things coming in from the client, depending on their business, depending on their industry, depending on their goals that they are planning on to take on once after successful implementation of Marketo. So those along with the recommended project boundaries, timelines, budgeting, resources, and scope. So not only the consultant appearing for this exam is expected to know in depth about Marketo, but they're also expected to know on how to plan a core Marketo project, a marketing automation project, and how to take it forward, and how to effectively communicate things between the internal and the external team as well. And the core modified process determine who needs enablement and the efficient project rollout plan. So implementing Marketo is one thing, and coming up with a launch plan, things that one should be aware about the launching the Marketo instance, building out the launch plan, etc., is also expected from the consultant. And of course, when every time you may not be coming through or coming started on a fresh instance, so you need to have a core skills on how to conduct a comprehensive audits, what are some of the recommendation or the priorities, and along with that plan the timeline of optimizing the existing process, existing stuff, along with building out the new strategy and the new stuff in the Marketo. And apart from that, from the core Marketo Engage architecture design, one is expected to know on how to gather the requirements, needs, and recommended the lead management and lead lifecycle design. So this wraps a lot of things in itself. So you are expected to know what are the caveats or what are the things that one should be considering while designing a funnel management framework, a lead management framework for a client based on their business, based on their strategy, based on their processes, etc. And review an existing implementation and provide findings. This is something which entails from the audit perspective. So one should be well versed on all the audit strategy on how to conduct an audit, and the how to provide recommendations based on the existing tech depth or the existing implementation that that a client has in their instance. And given a business need, so this also entails around the requirements. So given a business need, identify what are the different behaviors for scoring. And one should also be aware about like what are the different dimensions for scoring, and how like providing recommendations on what are the interactions that should be scored, what are the interactions that should be scored higher, what should be scored lower compared to others, etc. And this all entails around what are the priorities and what are the goals, ultimate goals of the client are. And apart from that, review existing implementation also entails around the audit perspective and recommended actions to scale the campaign execution and overall Marketo implementation. And outline the operational procedure for lead routing multiple countries. So usually for an enterprise level clients who have presence across multiple countries, across multiple geographies, one like as a consultant, one should be aware about what are the different strategies on how a lead or how a person coming in from Marketo can be routed to different sales users based on their demographics, based on their parameters. Like either they could be routed from the CRM, either they could be routed from the Marketo. Based that ultimately this base depends on the processes and the like marketing and sales process and alignment that the client has in that place. And given a scenario, one should be able to evaluate impact, the requirement to incorporate the new technology to the instance. So like a lot of times client has a lot of integrations, a lot of tech stack already integrated with the Marketo. So if they are looking forward to integrate or add a couple more platform, then one should be able to, as a consultant, one should be able to say what are the implications, uh, what are the implications of adding in this new technology, or is it to the along with the existing technology that they have integrated with the Marketo. So this also comes around and discusses a lot about the webhooks and APIs perspective as well, because not each and every platform can be natively integrated with Marketo. So at times one needs to use the custom integrations using Marketo's REST APIs and the third-party platforms APIs, and of course the webhooks as well. So having a bit knowledge about that third-party integrations, custom as well as native, also helps to tackle some of the questions in this exam. And identify different types of integrations is something which I already discussed, and when to use which. And given a scenarios, outline various stages in person leads life cycle impacted by proposed changes. So for example, if a client is having a funnel management framework, a lead life cycle model already built in, and they want to make changes to an existing model, then one should be able to, as a consultant, one should be able to suggest what would be the implication, or what are the changes that one would have to make before going ahead and launching the updated funnel management framework. And appraise a set of requirements and recommend an approach to campaign logic. So building a campaign execution, planning out the workflow is something which is something required at the architect level. One should be able to build out the campaigns in the most efficient manner to avoid any backlogs, to avoid any issues going ahead into the implementation phase. So moving ahead. Over to you, Ajay.
Thank you, Darshil. So the two topics which I'm going to cover, one among those is reporting and attribution, and another one is advanced operations. And reporting and attribution happens to be my favorite topic. Reason being, because not only just the chief marketing officers or people from the marketing operations team are asking about how our campaigns are basically performing, but there is now a consistent pressure from the chief financial officer as well, before issuing the new budget, that which campaign worked, which marketing tactic worked best for the company in driving top of the funnel, bottom of the funnel, or middle of the funnel leads. So technically, just to find it out that which webinars are actually influencing in just creating only the new leads, or we could call it names, or which events are actually helping us in influencing in opportunity creation or opportunity closure, or which email campaigns are actually moving the needle and moving the prospects from various stages, like from prospect engage to MQL. So reporting and attribution plays a vital role in my opinion, if you're starting your journey as an architect. So the another thing would be that you should be able to drill down in some of the workspace and partition as well. And you should know the pros and cons of workspace and partition, and you should also be able to define the data schema, and then how the sync rules are going to be, how you're going to get the APIs connected, and just in case if you are using custom object on Salesforce, or maybe the custom object of Marketo, how these things are going to work together, what are the limitations of the custom objects, and then how to ensure the proper triggers are being set up based on the custom objects. So when it comes to the attribution side, always keep in mind about first touch and multi-touch attribution models. And first touch actually meant for which programs are good in acquiring new names, and multi-touch answers a slightly complicated business question about which programs are most influential in moving people forward in the sales cycle. And the another thing is lifecycle modeler, because the revenue modeler is setting you up for reporting. It is recommended that the transition always include triggers. So that way the reports will reflect the true velocity of your model stage flow, and the filters could also be added. So these are the things which I would highly recommend. Attribution, spend as much time as possible. And there are different types of attribution model, which I said that first touch and multi-touch. So depending upon various reporting, just try to find it out which one works best for your company or your client. And then we have various reports available, and those reports are just something like email performance report, landing page performance report, but uh, there is a very great insight available in Revenue Cycle Explorer. I would request, just in case if you have never got chance to look into Revenue Cycle Explorer, please log into that and try to see the already inbuilt reports, and that will give you more insights about the real capabilities of Marketo. There are many things which you will be able to accomplish using Revenue Cycle Explorer. So yeah, it is all about reporting and attribution, and definitely attribution plays a vital role in setting up the reporting for sure. And then you should be also be able to find it out the pros and cons of each and every attribution model, because each and every attribution model is different and unique its own way. And within advanced operation, the one of my favorite is how to improve deliverability, because I work with multiple clients, and most of the time my clients are complaining that well, we have good deliverability rate, but the emails are not really getting delivered. So in that case, what we should do for the proper inbox placement, what we should do to improve deliverability, and can Revenue Cycle Explorer reports really help us in improving the deliverability? So these are the things which you should be able to get answered when you're studying more about improving the email deliverability. And then the another thing, which is not sort of new, but after the SSO implementation and all, it usually comes from the IT, that the implementation for the security practices, that how to get SSO implemented. And when we are getting SSO implemented, there are certain pros and cons, that many API connection may not support it. So we just need to be mindful of those as well. And like I said before, that explain the applicability of workspace and partition for a given scenario, because each and every workaround, or maybe your solution, like workspace or partition, has its own pros and cons. So we should be knowing the pros and cons before referring it to the client. Next slide, Darshil. So here are the sample exam question, and these are publicly available, so we can certainly debate about it and discuss about these things. And I would humbly request you that feel free to type in the chat message about the answer which you feel for this specific question. So I'm going to read it loud for you. That while running standard email report, a Marketo Engage administrator notices that deliverability has become inconsistent over time. Which two actions can the architect take to understand the decrease? Choose two. So please feel free to type in your answers in the chat.
We can wait for a minute or two while everybody goes, like, reads the question, and we will certainly discuss the sample questions as well. So yeah, and like, if you want to speak out loud, feel free to unmute yourself as well. Okay, we have some answers.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
1 and 4, 1 and 3.
one seems to be the most popular choice, along with the 2 and 4. Oh, we have 1 and 5 as well. Yeah, like, don't be shy. Like, would the answer be wrong or as well? Like, we are everyone as like, this is a learning phase for every one of us. So yeah.
Yep, that's right. Means
Yeah.
Even the wrong answers are going to help us to learn new things. So yeah, please feel
Yeah.
free to chime in.
Yeah. Yeah, I think 1 and 4 are the favorite options for everyone.
Right. Yeah, looks like show the answer, Darshil.
Yeah, sure. It's 1 and 4.
So it is 1 and 4. So the first one, create a smart list of email bounces referencing specific categories that correlate to bounce reasons. So if you're aware that, there is always a bounce reason through which we can actually find it out whether our emails are, how our emails are getting blocked, whether it is a hard bounce or, or there is a specific type of bounce. And another thing, and this is why I said that, the Revenue Explorer of Marketo gives us such a great insights. And one among those is actually to find it out about those complaints which are sent directly to the ISPs. And then ISP send that data back to Marketo to flag a specific user as opt-out. You can only find that out through Revenue Cycle Explorer. And the beauty of Revenue Cycle Explorer is that, you can actually create a report like a pivot table in Excel. So you can actually find it out, the name of the email, the subject of the email, and how many reports or who actually reported about those emails to ISPs. So one thing I want to tell you, by reporting to ISPs, in the sense, let's assume whenever you have Gmail and you get a promotional email, and then you get an option that, mark as spam, that is called a complaint to the ISPs. So, whenever you're sending out an email to your prospects or your clients, and they are using Gmail as client, or it is not just Gmail, it is actually related to many other email clients as well, and then they are marking that email as spam, not unsubscribing from the email campaigns, but they're just simply marking us as spam. So this is how we could actually find it out. And here I want to tell you an interesting scenario, and I'm not going to name one of my clients. They said that they have a terrible email deliverability, and the email deliverability was somewhat showing good, but the open rate and click-through rate were bad. And when I built this Revenue Explorer report for them, I found out it means they were having 1,400 complaints from one specific email. So, maybe the content was not resonating well with the audience, or maybe it was an incomplete email, or maybe it is the language in the email that didn't work well with many users. So yeah, they were having 1,400 complaints from the ISPs from one specific campaign. So yep, so these are the things which will help us to fix the broken processes and find it out what we should be focusing on. And I'm sorry, I think I took a little longer than this question, so I will be pretty fast on the next one.
No worries, Ajay. I think we all got to learn a couple of things. Thank you so much for sharing.
So this is the second question. A sales team requires immediately routing by country. The team has high turnover and the regions change frequently. The lead routing campaign requires the administrator to visit the campaign's flow step and manually search for countries and sales rep in a long list of choices. What should the architect do to more easily manage the assignments? So you have three options, just one is correct. So which one it should be?
We have quite an active audience, Ajay.
Yes.
That is good.
And,
awesome. Thank
and
you
this
so
is
much.
encouraging. This is really encouraging because,
Yep.
we really want participation from you all.
Yeah.
What all topics you would like to see us speaking more on, and just in case, if we are not the right people to speak about on those topics, we will have other people arranged over here who will be like a guest speaker and help us to enlighten our knowledge.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. So many ones. That's great.
Shall we reveal the answer?
Yep. Yes, please. In the interest of time.
Yep. Here you go.
So yep,
One
the
is
first
the
is the correct answer.
Yeah. I think this is one of the easier question, but yeah, you can expect any level of difficulty, mix of easier, medium, and a lot of hard questions as well. Yeah.
Yep. And there is one thing I want to tell you. If a marketing operation person needs to do the lead routing, it means we have a very lazy sales operations team member. So
Yeah, that is for sure.
yeah, please move on to the next question.
Yeah. So yeah, this question is about the attribution a bit. So let me read out the question for you guys. So the leader of the marketing operations team at Cookieless Monsters Inc. So you're gonna hear or read a lot of Cookieless Monsters Inc. in your exam question. So this the and needs to enable marketers to answer questions about campaign effectiveness. There are couple details about how these people are capturing campaign data, which is given in the next line. Based on that, one of the answers is going to be correct and other three are going to be incorrect. So continuing with the question, the acquisition program is not being used correctly, which is something given to us. And the database does not always have a value for acquisition program, and the channel are set up correctly with the appropriate success step for each status. So as per your knowledge, as per your understanding of the question, which of the four options do you think best describes what is occurring with the models or not? So we'll as usual, we'll give few a couple minutes to answer for the audience, and then we can go ahead and discuss the options and correct answer as well. Okay, once again, we have a lot of answers coming in. B seems to be a popular choice. Good. Okay, yeah, indeed, B is the correct answer. So the core area which this question is testing is the consultant's ability to identify what a first touch is and what is required to be captured for capturing or noting the first touch first touch interaction for a person, and compare it with or contrast it with the multi-touch model, and what are things which is required to capture the multi-touch interaction. So as per the question, it says the attribution, like there's an error, or the acquisition program is not being used correctly for the first, which is something which is given in the question. So that means the first touch is something, the data in the first touch is something which is not accurate and reliable, because it is given in the question that is not being captured correctly. And we are also given that the channels are set up correctly with the appropriate success step for each status. So as people move ahead in the different progression steps in a channel, there are specific campaigns and workflows created accurately to capture those interactions. So that means the multi-touch model or the multi-touch data is perfectly aligned. It is getting perfectly captured. So which is something which is being discussed in the option B. The first couple lines discusses the core definition of the first touch model and what the multi-touch model is. And then we have in the scenario, the first touch is not accurate since the acquisition program is not being used correctly. But the multi-touch attribution model is the data is accurate because of the way the channel and the progression steps and the workflows necessary to transition people to different steps is set up correctly. So this is how you should be approaching to a question which is of this architect level difficulty. You should nail down the question. You should understand the question. What are the topics that are being asked in the question, discussed in the question, as well as the details which are given in the question accurately, and then move ahead and read the option and select the correct options. So yeah, let's move ahead. The next question. So this is one of the last questions that we are going to discuss today. So yeah, I'll just read out the question for you. The sales team wants visibility into lead lifecycle process across lead and contact objects. Currently, they use Salesforce and decide to track lifecycle using custom fields. Cohesive lifecycle reporting requires stage fields on both leads and contacts in SFDC. So this is something which is given as a requirements. This is something that they want to do. And the follow-up question is that, which two requirements must be met when creating stage fields? So this is more than one correct answer. There will be two correct choices for this question from option A to option E. I'll just give few moments for you guys to look at the options and answer. Awesome, we already have options coming in B and E. I think you all are very much prepared to take on the architect exam. That is really good.
Yep, this is really encouraging, Darshil, I must say.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. or it may be the case that a lot of people may have taken the sample exam. But yeah, I mean, either way, like taking this sample exam or knowing the answer from like after reading the first question, like for the first time, both are good, because with and nobody is gonna appear for the exam without taking the sample question. So yeah, let's go ahead and see the and like discuss these answers. Yep, the correct answer is B and E. So like the question does not discusses that there are going to be different different stages or different life cycle model for both the lead and contact object. So something that we should be coherently know that the stage pick list values for the custom field that we are going to create on lead and contact object, they should match, and which is what mentioned is in the option E. And the other categories of option A and B, like they discusses how the field should be, the custom field should be created. So now since we want to capture the data on lead and contact for the lead and contact object, so the new stage fields, the new custom stage fields must be created on both the objects, that is lead and contact, and they should be mapped with each other, so any updates on one is reflected to the other as well. And the data is of course not lost on conversion. So yeah, thank you so much, and yeah, congratulations to all the guys which got the correct answers. So this is something which both Ajay and I would like to discuss together as a team. So some of the general exam taking tips. I mean, I will get started with some of the tips, and probably Ajay can add on to what I discussed. So first of all, be prepared for taking up the architect exam. So this is not an exam which you can study and prepare an overnight or over a weekend and appear. So this is something like the exam requires on the field on like a core Marketo administration and implementation experience. And this is the skill which one would acquire over the time, implementing different instances, working with different sorts of clients on multiple instances over the time. And Marketo is a broad platform. Like there are a lot of things that you can do in Marketo across different areas. So architect exam test all the topics in depth and across the breadth. So you should be aware about all the core areas of Marketo, all the core modules of the Marketo, and to a significant level of depth as well. And we have linked the sample question for exam on the second bullet point. So feel free to go ahead and take the sample exam, which is prepared by Adobe and put up on their site, so as to know if you're ready for taking the exam or not. So the questions which we took or discussed in the earlier slides are the questions which we got from the sample exam questions. And yeah, read the question very carefully. I mean, this is not expert or associate level exam wherein you can just skim through the question and check out the option and get like mark the correct answer. The architect exam would expect you to go through the question very thoroughly. Reread the question if you don't think you got all the details or managed to capture all the details in one go. So I usually read the question couple of times to make sure I get all the details, all the ask, all the requirements from the question, and then move ahead and check out the options. So this way I have all the background and all the things that question is providing me and is asking me before I land on to the options. And plan on how you will be using the allotted time. So 150 minutes you have for the exam, you got to answer 50 questions. So 3 minutes per question, or you can have like you can spend nearly 2.5 to 3 minutes per question. And of course, you will not be consuming full 3 minutes on a single question on each and every single question. There will be some questions where you will be spending close to 2 minutes or even less if that is an area of expertise of yours. But yeah, overall, do not spend a lot of time on a single question, and do not move hastily on think that you will be left with a lot less time in the end. So yeah, maintain a consistent speed throughout your exam, and yeah, use logic when taking the test. Architect certification is something which demands you to use your logical skills while answering question. And yeah, answer all the questions. There are no negative marks for any of the wrong answers. And yeah, as I said, do not spend too much time on the single question, and conversely, do not spend too little time on a question as well. Maintain consistent speed throughout your exam, and you can always flag the question if you wish, and you can come back to those questions as well. Yeah, and maintain a positive attitude. As I said, this is something which like architect level of skill is something which you are not going to be able to prepare overnight over a weekend. It is something you would prepare over the course of years, over the course of months, as and when you do a core implementation of Marketo from end to end for your clients or for your company. So yeah, maintain a positive attitude to not get let down by a couple of failures or a failure. Yeah, just learn from them and yeah, strive until you become the architect. Over to you, Jay. Please add if I missed anything.
Thank you. No, it was great. I'll just add a couple of more things
Yeah.
over here. Darshil, first among those is that, positive attitude is pretty much important because, we all are human and, it happens that, if the first 3, 4 questions we are not very sure about the answer, it tends to, push down on our morale. But the catch is that if you are having effective time management skills, you will be able to, overcome that. If, first a few questions are not, you are not very sure about the answers, you can always mark them that, you will come back to those questions later, but keep giving your best, keep giving your best on each and every question that might, that you get to see. But the biggest important thing is that just don't think negative whenever you're giving this exam or even when you're preparing for the exams. See, the best thing is that the topics are already very well described in the exam guide. Please go through the exam guide and see that, what all things are being asked over here bullet by bullet, and see what all you lack. And the thing is that you just need to work on the points which you lack. And then when you're giving the exam, see, no one is perfect. No one, trust me. Trust me, we all have our own inhibitions. We all have our own shortcomings. We are good in some things. We are not good in few of these things. So just just maintain a positive approach, and then, take the question as it is. And because this specific exam has a case study as well, so ensure that you're sparing some time to read the case study and allocate time for each and every question. And I would suggest give 20 minutes only for those questions where you are having a little bit of doubt. So just in case if there is a question which is pretty lengthy in nature, and I'm not a native English speaker, it takes a little while for me to understand a question. I read it twice and thrice, like the way Darshil said, and then the thing is that even if I'm not sure about the answer, I'll do this thing that maybe top 2 answers might not be the right one. So I will be just excluding those and focusing on the right ones, and then thereafter I will be keeping that specific question for review, just in case if I'm not sure, I'll just come back to it later, and then I can go through for my all those questions which I'm not sure of. So usually I keep 20 minutes for those questions, means whenever I'm allocating the time. And I know we are left with 4 more minutes, so I'll keep my mouth shut and we will move on to the raffle.
Yeah, I think this is something which everybody was waiting for. So yeah. Let me share the correct screen.
So in the interest of time, we actually added the names of all those folks who have actually registered for this session. So and these vouchers are meant for those who are actually attending. So just in case if the person, you need to actually tell whether you are at present to this session or not. Only then your details will be shared with Josephine. So Vinay, we will take your query in a while, but Darshil, please spin the wheel.
Yep, here we go. All the best, everyone.
Yeah. And by the way, mine and Darshil's names are not added over here. So
yeah. So first we have Harish Sethumadhan. Harish, are you there in the call? Please respond.
Harish, if you're not here, then your voucher will be shared with someone else.
Yeah, we'll wait for second or two only.
2
I don't
seconds.
think. Yeah.
Okay. Let me just see the name of the people. And let me just try to find out. We don't have Harish here.
Okay.
So Darshil, yep. I will be searching in the participant list. We have 34 participants.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you. Next up, we have Richa Bhatnagar. Do we have Richa? The call?
No, we don't have Richa.
Nope.
On the call. No.
I hope somebody wins soon.
No, yeah. Otherwise, we will keep spinning. That will take an hour.
Yeah, I mean, I do not have any issue. Sanjana Kapoor.
No, we don't have her as well.
Oh my God.
Sanjita. No, we don't have Sanjita either.
Okay, we'll do couple of spins and then I have the random function set up in Excel. Maybe we can do that as well. That would be a little faster, I think.
No, we don't have Kalicharan Rajput.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, Zoom meeting does not allow to export the
Attendees, so sorry
yeah,
about that.
Yeah, for the in the real time, like while the meeting is going on.
Shivam. We don't have Shivam Aluwalia.
Okay, do you think we should move on to Excel, Ajay?
I think, in the interest of time, we are left with only 1 minute. So yeah, sorry. We just wanted to be transparent, but
yeah. So these are all the names of all the registrants. I think I added a random function here, so we'll just do a couple of spins, and like the next name we are gonna consider as for the raffle entry, which is generated by the random function. So Ashish Batra.
no, we don't have Ashish.
Ajay. Mom again.
Ajay hai.
Thank God. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Ajay.
Yeah. Ajay, we can note his name, right? We'll give to Josephine.
Yep.
Okay. Abhilash.
Abhilash, just 1 second. No, we don't have Abhilash.
Kushal B.
No, we don't have Kushal.
Parul Goel.
Parul Goel, yes, we have Parul.
Amazing. Congratulations, Parul.
Congratulations, Parul.
And we checked there are no two people with the same name, so don't be worried about that. Then we have Shivam Mittal.
Yep, we have Shivam as well.
Awesome. Congratulations, everybody. Yeah, we'll share 3 of your names with Josephine, and she will get back to you with the next steps for the voucher. So yeah, I think we are over time, but I think Ajay, we can take few questions from everyone. If you don't mind. Yeah.
And stop the recording because
yeah, I will stop the recording.